Ratatouille. Ah, the French chef rat, celebrated everywhere for its excellence. Originally created by animator Jan Pinkava, it was an exciting project for Pixar to develop because it allowed them to explore an unfamiliar world in computer animation: high-class cuisine. And what could be more high-class than having this be set in one of the food capitals of the world, Paris, and primarily be from the point of view of a rat with big dreams. As fun as it sounded for the animators, the production was still quite a challenge, and they did face some troubles while making the feature. So after finishing his job in The Incredibles, Brad Bird stepped in to direct and help give the movie the plating and the attention to detail it needed to be set for its 2007 release. And as a result, not only was this considered another critical and financial hit from Pixar, but many even call this, to this day, one of Pixar's best. And considering the studio's track record, especially during that time, that's really saying a lot. But now it's time for me to go Anton Ego on this thing and see what all this hype is about with the movie starring who many refer to as the rat of all my dreams. Will this be a Michelin star animated feature, or is this nothing more but a fast food film? Let's find out. The story. It's hard to say that there actually is a story in this film, and whenever there is something that resembles a story, well, it's honestly not that great when you think about it. In The Angle of the Rats, they're presented as the typical hidden colony that humans are unaware of and have a resentment towards humans to the point of seeing them as the enemy to avoid at all costs. The issue with this concept is that it comes with the usual cliches that are often attached to this plot point, including the protagonist being the rogue member that breaks the rules by hanging out with the humans and forming a bond with one of them that also leads to a breakup with a climactic redemption. When the focus has to shift to the rats, that's when the plot becomes a little predictable and takes away a bit of the feeling of being invested with the picture, especially in the first 12 minutes. However, I will give it credit that there are times when the moments with the rats are handled well to help define Remy's character and highlighting his personal conflicts and goals. One great example is the scene where Remy confronts his dad about humans, even when in front of a pest control shop.
You can't change nature.
Change is nature, Dad. The part that we can influence. And it starts when we decide.
But then again, that is only a minor aspect of the film that doesn't often pop up. Now, I know some might be a bit confused when I started this by saying that there's hardly a story in this movie. Some would even say that I might be crazy for saying that. Well, that's because I am, but that's besides the point. What I mean is that this is not really the kind of movie that has a straightforward narrative, but rather, it's a movie that prioritizes in immersing its audience in a familiar world from a new perspective. And that is the key ingredient that makes the movie truly shine. There may be a bit of a plot line that follows Remy as he pursues his passion in cooking, but it takes its time to indulge in the world of French cuisine, showing both the elegance and the stress that comes with it. This is why the animation takes a higher priority, and because this is coming from Pixar during their most acclaimed era, it's a smart move to really show off one of their greatest assets. And I'll explain more how the visuals are top-notch here later.
Firing 200, seared salmon.
Filet, working. I need plates.
And because this is mainly coming from the point of view of a rat, it elevates the tone to really emphasize the mood of the moment, often going from a fast pace as Remy runs for his life to calming down after seeing the bond between Linguini and the rat bolden as the movie progresses. By the way, the latter is also another great strength to give the movie some nice heart, as these two underdogs rely on each other in order to become the latest rising stars of Paris, which also plays well in the movie's message of anyone can cook. What makes the story so engaging is not the journey of Remy becoming a chef, but instead, it's what's all around Remy and how it perfectly captures Paris in the point of view of a gourmet-minded rat. The animation. As I said before, this is one of those rare Pixar films where the animation takes higher priority than the storytelling, and it pays off so beautifully. Remember how they developed the world of A Bug's Life to make it feel fresh and new by shrinking the perspective to make the ordinary look gigantically extraordinary? Ratatouille takes it to the next level with the city of Paris and Gusteau's kitchen, and the key component is the attention to detail. What makes the movie so immersive is the amount of detail put into just about everything. After all, this is mainly coming from Remy's point of view, so everything that's around him is magnified more than what the eye could normally register at first glance, including the texture of people's hair, skin, and clothing, the rat's fur, the food in the kitchen, the water and fire effects, the materials used to make the buildings, and many more. From a design standpoint, the amount of work that's put into the backgrounds and effects is remarkable to really go that extra mile to bring this familiar world to life, and highlighting even the smallest things that we normally take for granted, all in the name of selling the believability in the look. But the designs alone are not what makes this Paris so immersive. It's about how it's brought to life, and how everything is so quick and busy. In a way, it greatly captures the pace of a kitchen in a big-name restaurant, where so much is happening at once and everything is constantly moving that it puts Remy and the audience in a spot where they gotta keep up with the pace with the environment or else they'll get roasted. Speaking of the pace, another great thing about the animation is how it handles the more action-packed scenes, where Remy runs from danger in the name of survival. This is where the scenes really make the most with the details and the larger-than-life backgrounds to have the rat keep dodging obstacles and go through this elaborate maze that articulates the creativity of what the scenes have established. But if I have to mark the highlight of the animation, the best dish served by the animators is the character animation of Linguini. Keep in mind that the animation on the characters is great. They got Brad Bird's signature abstract style for the people's designs, and they all move in a manner that is realistic, yet done in a way that strengthens their personalities. Even the rats move more like actual rats, but given character. But when it comes to Linguini, his movements go to extremes that emphasizes the fun in watching animation. As Remy keeps pulling his hair to manipulate him in becoming a master chef, there is a strong dynamic in his physical responses that are both comical and fun with how this is the trick of making Remy the cook he always dreamed to be. I could safely say that everyone who worked on this did an impeccable job, but the ones who deserve my greatest compliments are the animators at Pixar. The characters. While this is a movie that prioritizes in bringing audiences to its world, it does come at the little cost of crafting their characters in the same way Pixar masterfully does it in their other movies. Of course, this is not really to say that they are bad. In fact, they're actually really good and likable. I'm only saying that character development is not the main important element of the feature. But anyways, let's actually talk about them, starting with the main rat, Remy. For the most part, he's presented as eccentric and passionate about cooking food. However, he does have to face a massive conflict between his rat family, who scavenge through garbage to survive, and achieving the culinary lifestyle he always wanted. From time to time, he contemplates with the figment of his imagination in the form of his idol, Chef Gusteau, to show how his choice is more of an ultimatum that would come with a major sacrifice. It's either his family or his passion, and he knows that he can't have both.
Why do I need you to tell me? Why do I need to pretend?
But you don't, Remy. You never did.
Speaking of his family, the ones closest to him are Emile, his supportive brother that is okay with eating literally anything, and his dad, Django, the leader of the rats that is a traditionalist who is the most against humans. But Remy isn't alone for too long because he has Linguini, a young man who traded all of his talents for being 100% awkward that got in Gusteau's because his deceased mother wanted him to have a job. However, his connection with the restaurant is much bigger than even he is aware of, and as his popularity in the restaurant rises, the more he becomes aware that he needs Remy in order to cook. Sure, there is a bit of that liar trope that's in him because of how Remy's cooking skills is what make people think he's a talented chef, but like I said before, what helps both characters to be more likable is the bond between the two. How they are both similar as social outcasts in their own way, but can solve their problems by working together. Again, they are both what Gusteau means by anyone can cook. In fact, they're the last two you'd ever expect to make good food. Yet there they are at Gusteau's beating the odds and bringing the restaurant back to life. And a big part of their likability is that they represent the movie's message. Along with Linguini, his fellow cooks also have a bit of their own fun personalities that help liven up the kitchen, especially Colette, who is the toughest for being the only girl working in the restaurant. She is also Linguini's love interest, but that honestly felt a little unnecessary, like the movie doesn't really need to have that romance. But as enjoyable as these characters are, the two most fun characters outside of the leads are the villains. There's Skinner, the hot-headed chef who is determined to uncover Linguini's secret about Remy, and desperate to get the guy out of the picture so that he could be the master of the restaurant. In a way, his short temper and his sense of losing his mind adds some nice Looney Tunes-style humor to the picture where it gives the duo an immediate threat to face as they start to cook in the kitchen.
But he
just dropped my keys.
And then there's Anton Ego, the harsh food critic whose negative reviews is what killed the real Gusteau and have his restaurant fall from grace. As a critic myself, I love the idea of a critic as a prominent character, and the way the film presents Ego is perfect, both in how he portrays the way people view critics as soulless vampires who enjoy killing their subjects' dreams and love to make them feel like they're terrible at their jobs, and how most of that is actually true. While not as prominent as Skinner, he still has that threatening aura that his words have the ability to make or break someone, making him a great fit to be the Gusteau's restaurant's greatest enemy.
Gusteau has finally found his rightful place in history right alongside another equally famous chef, Monsieur Boyardee.
Touché.
Are these characters perfect? Honestly, no. Like Linguini himself, they would need a bit of a tune-up. But are they still great on their own and help bring this version of Paris to life with their own memorable moments? Absolutely. And that is why I'm still glad to have these characters as is. In the words of Anton Ego as he realizes the meaning of Gusteau's motto, anyone can cook, not everyone can become a great artist, but a great artist can come from anywhere. And luckily, Pixar had nothing less than the finest artists in the industry that were more than capable of turning the idea of a rat who wanted to be a chef into the iconic animated feature we know today as Ratatouille. A film that is rightfully ranked as one of their top achievements with a story that beautifully brings audiences to Paris from a new point of view, fun characters that bring the kitchen to life in an exciting way, and gorgeously detailed animation that is still admirable to watch to this day. As part of one of the more acclaimed Pixar films, of course this is a must-watch, especially for any culinary enthusiasts or those who enjoy cooking. This might give you some inspiration to sharpen your skills and to get on Remy's level. And just like many of the acclaimed Pixar films, I am happy to be giving this one the Animat seal of approval. I will be returning to Ratatouille soon, hungry for more. Hey guys, this is Animat, and I want to start things off by giving out a huge thanks to Peyton Michael, whose amazing support on Patreon allowed him to get a lot of amazing rewards, including this one, where he got to ask me to review Ratatouille, and what a great film that was. However, it does make me a little bit worried about the future because I know for the next one, it's going to be hard to even be on the same level as Ratatouille. Which, by the way, I shall go and pick out the next review from the animation hat. Which, by the way, before I get things started on this here, I would just like to go and say that if you guys would like to be like Peyton Michael and you want to go and support my work and get some amazing rewards at the same time, including but not limited to seeing my videos before anyone else, then all you have to do is go to patreon.com/animat. But at the same time, if you guys would like to suggest an animated film you would like me to review and I would put onto the animation hat, then all you have to do is write me an email at animatsreviews@gmail.com. Alright, so let's see what else we got here. It would be very nice if I could get another movie in the levels of Ratatouille for me to review, because that would mean to watch another great animated film, but okay, well I got a bunch. There we go. Yeah, as I was saying, would be great to review something like Ratatouille because it would mean watching another great movie, but let's see what it is, though. Is this the case with the next movie I will review? Oh! Well, honestly, this would be something that I'll have to think about, honestly, but this is actually a very fascinating piece of animation history, and honestly, I'm actually excited to go and review this one, more for the sake of the movie itself to go and analyze, more so than the fact that, oh, this is a well-known movie I gotta review. Because, I'll just say that this isn't Snow White, but this is pretty much Fleischer's version of Snow White, so that's why it's gonna be really fascinating to look into this one.
Can I interest you in a dessert this evening?
Don't you always?
Which one would you like?
Surprise me!